Good evening. Welcome to the November 21st meeting of the Mount Juliet Municipal and Regional Planning Commission. Before I even start, I think some folks might be here for Mirabella or possibly another item called EPCON, which is courtyards. Those items will not be heard tonight. Mirabella has been deferred, I believe, to the January meeting. Is that correct? So if you're here for either one of those items, they will not be heard tonight. Because we have some absentees of planning commissioners currently, I'm going to talk about a quorum. The presence of 5 members of the commission shall constitute a quorum for transaction of business. The chairperson at his/her discretion wait up to 30 minutes after the scheduled meeting time for a quorum to be present. In the event that a member is required to leave a meeting prior to adjournment and the departure causes loss of quorum, no further official action may be taken until quorum is restored. Good evening, Mayor. Other than an adjournment. Sorry about that. Majority of those commissioners present, in no case less than 4 affirmative votes, shall be required to decide any item of business requiring action by the commission. We are blessed with the presence of the mayor tonight. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now I want to set the agenda. I have one change to the agenda, which I'm going to propose, which is moving 7A, which is review the preliminary plat for McFarland Farms, Phase 1A, 1B, and 2, located off Old Lebanon Road, moving that to the consent agenda, making that item 6K. Is there any questions, concerns about that, John? No? Todd? Okay. Any comments from Planning Commission? Okay. Agenda's so set. Call for staff reports. John?
I would like to just say welcome to Nathan Bullman, the newest commissioner up here. And I'd also like to say happy Thanksgiving.
Nice and quick.
I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving as well. And I also have to do a proud mom plug. My daughter's birthday is tonight. I want to wish her a happy birthday. And she also just passed her state boards, and I have an official registered nurse as a daughter. So I want to wish her a huge congratulations.
Matthew White, the Director of Public Works, wanted to let you all know that the signal at Volunteer Boulevard and Golden Bear Gateway is now fully operational and seems to be running pretty smoothly.
Okay, well, now we're here, citizen comments. The public is welcome and encouraged to make public comment about anything on the agenda. There'll be 2 opportunities for comments. You may speak now, or you may speak when the item is presented to the Planning Commission. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. Anyone who wishes to address the Planning Commission will have to come forward so the name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Leanne Williams-Maley, and I live at 9991 Central Pike in Mount Juliet, but we're in the Annexation Reserve area. And I'm here to ask if I could speak about something that we did not receive notice of, which was on the consent agenda at the last meeting.
We only hear the items that are comments on the items on the current agenda.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay, any further citizen comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed with the rest of the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes. Now approve the minutes of October 17th, 2024, Planning Commission. Any edits or comments from anybody? Okay, seeing no comments, do I hear a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, signify by raising your hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Very good. All right, next we'll hear the first item on the agenda, which is our consent agenda. Go through each one of these. First is item 6A, which I am happy and proud and definitely happy to announce is Taylor Murray as Planning Commission Secretary. Item 6B, review the mass grading plan for outside the box Phase 2 located off Meb Court and Lebanon Road. Item 6C, review the final plat for Silver Springs Phase 6 located off Karen Drive. Item 6D, review the final plat for Willow Landing Phase 3 located off Mays Chapel Road. Item 6E, review the final plat modification of Legacy Point at Golden Bear, Lot 9, located at 1440 and 1454 Rutland Drive. Item 6F, review the annexation and plan of services for the city property located at 2460 Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Item 6G, review the annexation and plan of services for the property located at 1191 Nonneville Road. Item 6H, review the abandonment of a portion of the existing right-of-way located off Rutland Road near Golden Bear Gateway. Item 6I, review the ordinance to repeal ordinance 2015-109 and ordinance 2016-02 in their entirety and encourage hotel development. Item 6J, review the ordinance amending Part B of the Unified Development Code of the City of Mount Juliet, known as the zoning regulations, ordinance 2001-29, adopted October 8th, 2001, as amended, to define hotels and motels in section 6-102, uses and structures, and which will be now known as item 6K, review the preliminary plat for McFarland Farms, Phase 1A, 1B, and 2, located off Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Now take citizen comments on the consent agenda. At this time, if you have any comment, please approach the podium, give your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing no comments. John?
Staff, we recommend approval or positive recommendation for these items, subject to any of the conditions in the staff report. If you have any questions, let me know.
Don?
Same thing, approve with conditions.
Okay. Any comments from the planning commission?
Got one question.
Yes, sir.
Item 6D, just curious if we ever received that letter from county planning with their satisfaction of the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
We usually get them. It's usually,
Delayed.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. At this time, we'll close the planning commission meeting and open a public hearing for the following items. Item 6C, review the final plat for Silver Springs Phase 6 located off Karen Drive. Item 6D, review the final plat for Willow Landing Phase 3 located off Mays Chapel Road. Item 6E, review the final plat modification of Legacy Point at Golden Bear, Lot 9, located at 1440 and 1454 Rutland Drive. Item 6F, review the annexation and plan of services for the city property located at 2460 Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Item 6G, review the annexation and plan of services for the property located at 1191 Nonneville Road. And that's all the ones for the public hearing. Any citizen comments at this time on the public hearing? Please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi,
Hi.
Tammy Russell, 1001 Bass Lane, Mount Juliet. We have the annexation signs on our street, Bass Lane, about the planning commission meeting tonight at 6:30 to talk about the annexation of the Maribel project, development project. Are y'all not discussing that tonight according to your sign here?
Yeah, Maribel will not be discussed tonight. It's been deferred until the January meeting.
Okay, so do you need to come take your signs down?
I think they probably need to be changed out.
Can
Yes,
y'all do that? Then what day in January? The third Thursday at 6:30?
Correct.
that's correct.
Okay, all right, because, no, everybody was gonna come, because that's what time the meeting was said it was gonna be, so, because we do have a Facebook page that we can, make comments on and to help everybody, so. All right,
And was that deferred by the
Applicant.
applicant? Yeah, it was deferred by the applicant.
okay, the developer from Marabella,
That's correct.
okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming. Okay. Any other citizen comments at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and reopen the planning commission meeting. Do I hear motion of approval on items 6A, 6B, 6H, 6I, 6J, and 6K and positive recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for 6C, 6D, 6E, 6F, and 6G.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Okay. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Passes. Okay. All right, let me get to the first one. Okay, now we're here on next item, which is item 8A, review the site plan for Fifth Third Bank located off Goldenberg Big Gateway and Volunteer Boulevard. Is there any representation on the project? Please approach.
Good evening, Brett Neville, Infinity Engineering Group, 1208 East County Boulevard, Tampa, Florida.
Greg Walden, BDG Architects, 400 North Ashley Drive, Tampa, Florida.
My hometown.
Is it? It's a lot warmer.
I'd say nice to hear your accent, but there's not much one down in Tampa. Any comments you want to issue? Just
No, I've worked with staff. Majority of the civil comments and stipulations we've already addressed and agreed to. So we are good with the conditions of approval. We look forward to moving forward.
okay. Just hang out in case there's any questions. John, Jill.
This is a portion of Lot 2 of the Lowry subdivision that you all passed the final plat on last month. This is just another one of the properties that's been subdivided out. It's going to be utilized for a Fifth Third Bank. It's approximately 2,075 square feet. They will have ATM and drive-through lanes that will be on the southern end of the property. All the access will be via Rutland Drive. There will be no direct access to Golden Bear Gateway. However, there will be pedestrian access via sidewalk to the sidewalk that will adjoin onto Golden Bear Gateway. They only have a very minor waiver for the building facade. That's one of the reasons, or primarily the only reason this was not on consent, because the project itself overall is in very good shape. As he stated, that they have worked diligently with staff, and we appreciate their cooperation in this project. The building facade waiver is for 71.73% brick and then 28, roughly almost 29% secondary and aggregate materials, which mainly are metal panels. But staff is in agreement with or supports the waiver, and we request approval of this with the conditions as shown.
Okay. Todd? Anything for traffic?
Approve of the conditions. We agree that the site plan being good shape.
Okay. All right. This time we'll hear any citizens' comments on the item. If you have any, make any comments, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none. Questions or comments from the Planning Commission? Okay, Preston.
What's your maintenance schedule specifically for the aluminum metal panels?
The aluminum metal panel, it's an ACM product. It's very low maintenance product. So in terms of maintenance schedule, it'll be just like anything else on the building. Fifth Third does not want discoloration on these panels. So it would be something that they would certainly address if there was an issue. But it's a rhino bump product. It's a bonded finish. It's signature finish to them, and it's a standard ACM for the canopies, just like you would see in any prefab type canopy. They're very low maintenance products.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other comments from Planning Commission? Okay. Do I hear a motion on this item? Motion to approve. Got a second? This is a positive recommendation. Okay. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise their hand, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Carries.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you
All
to
right,
staff.
thank you. Now here, item 8B, which is review the site plan modification for Legacy Point Retail located at 1440 and 1454 Rutland Drive. And representation from the applicant?
Neil Hall with Para Design, 145 Bear Crossing.
Okay.
Here on behalf of the applicant, just to answer any questions you have, we're agreeable to the conditions that staff has given us. This is a site plan modification. We already have approval for 2 buildings, adding a 3rd.
Okay. Planning, Mr. Bowman? Ms. Johnson?
I will say one thing real quick. The final plat making the lot larger for this 3rd building was on consent and approves. Just
Yeah,
a reminder of that.
Probably should have said that when we were going through that. Okay.
As Mr. Hall stated, they are just adding a 3rd building to this previously approved site plan. The new building is going to be approximately 10,841 square feet. It's additional retail. I do think it's going to have some general retail and possibly some restaurants. They do meet within all the conditions as far as their bulk regs with their lot coverage, their building and impervious surface coverages all meet within the required code. They do just have a minimal waiver, again, for commercial design standards with their masonry. They are requesting a 16.6% secondary facade material with that, and staff does support that, and we ask for approval with all conditions as shown.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Engineer, Todd?
The biggest change to the site plan from a transportation perspective is that the approved median cut was closer to the intersection of Rutland and Legacy Point Boulevard. Moving that away from that intersection is going to be a more ideal intersection spacing. It's going to more closely meet TDOT standards for that. They meet their required pedestrian access from the public right of way. So we would recommend approving with the conditions provided.
Okay. We'll have a question when we get back to that. This time we'll ask to hear any citizen comments at this time. Any citizen want to make a comment, please approach podium, state your name and address for the record. All quiet on the front. Now talk questions from the planning commission. I'll take the lead on the first question anyways. What are the distances from the entrance from the intersection approximately?
I do not have a measurement in front of me.
Kind of got a
Got
scale.
a plan. Hold on.
300 feet-ish. Well, your property line's 386, so 300 plus. Okay. That was really the only question I had.
The ideal spacing is 330 feet. So we're in the ballpark.
Pretty close. It's good to see. Any other comments from the planning commission? Sure.
Is there going to be a planned light at that intersection?
No. So the signal is currently at Legacy Point and Golden Bear Gateway.
Yeah,
Putting 2 signals that close together would be problematic.
understood.
So far, the always stop has been sufficient. We are monitoring that just generally as Legacy Point and Golden Bear grows.
Yeah.
But the capacity analysis provided with the greater Legacy Point plan when it was initially provided showed an always stop should be sufficient there.
Any other comments?
One.
Yep, Preston.
Any way we can add any additional striped crosswalks for that southern parking? I don't really see any crosswalks other than them just having to walk straight through traffic to get it to either building C or B. Any way we could add one or two?
I'm not sure I understand where exactly you're talking about. You're
Bottom
talking about
right.
in the large parking lot in the
Yep.
back?
Yep, bottom right. I just don't see any type of crosswalk for them to access building C or B. So if we could get one added somewhere, that'd be great.
I'm not sure where we can add one.
Well, I guess my question
trying
is
to
if I
figure it out.
park in 14 or 12 even, if I park in 12, am I supposed to just walk down the road, look both ways, hope for the best, or?
So with that being a parking facility, dedicated pedestrian routes are not provided except from the accessible spaces. What we could do is kind of those striped crossings like you see outside some like grocery stores or a Walmart, just kind of designating that it's a pedestrianized space.
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be great.
that'd be a good idea.
Yep. Just anything to call out and give them a way to get into building C or B.
There might be a way to do that. They're exceeding the number of spaces. So if we could provide something.
Well, that wouldn't even be a reduction of spaces. It would just be additional pavement markings
Okay.
in the drive aisle.
So Todd, you're saying just paint inside the drive aisle? Is that what
Correct.
you're?
Yeah.
okay.
That's fine with me. Yeah.
That's a lot like what you see outside of Publix.
Yeah.
Are we talking about from like the island, just across that kind of main drive that goes over to is that kind of what we're?
Yeah,
The
just
idea.
just a way that
The
they can get
idea.
over. I mean, because obviously there's going to be incoming and outcoming traffic to get into that parking. So just to get dedicated space for pedestrians to be able to walk to access either building.
Yeah, I think we can handle that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner George. Any other comments from the Planning Commission? Guys are quiet tonight. All right, hear no more comments. Do I hear a motion on this item?
Motion for approval or
This is an approval. It's not a recommendation item.
approval with the comments.
I'll second that.
Second, go. Got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just stay up here. I'm next off.
You're next up too. Okay, well. You get to be the victim twice. Okay, we'll now hear item 8C, which is review the final master development plan, site plan for Golden Bear Retail Center located at 1995 Golden Bear Gateway. Please proceed.
Once again, Neil Hall with Para Design, 145 Bear Crossing, Mount Juliet. This is a retail center, a mixture of retail and possible restaurant to go in the commercial lot. It is in front of the Stone Farm Bud. Here to answer any questions. We're in agreement with the staff comments. One kind of came up kind of late for us. We didn't realize it. The planning office said that a drive-through window was not, it was against the code. We weren't aware of that. The developer is okay with doing that. We'll delete that drive-through, and we're in full agreement with that. So, and the developer is. So,
Okay.
any other questions?
I'll pause for a second for citizen comments. At this time, do we hear any citizen comments on this item? If If any, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, let's proceed. John, any comments?
I think Neil did a pretty good job. Overview, 6,304 square foot building. This is in front of Jackson Hills, in between Sire and Vanner, north of that existing Golden Bear Market. Four retail units, one restaurant. As Neil said, the drive-through is going to go away. And he's correct about the code has changed since then, and we now have different requirements for CNS and drive-throughs. That's mainly the reason this wasn't on consent, because the drive-through lanes drive up. You can do a walk-up window, basically, if it faces the right-of-way. Not an actual drive-through with vehicles and speakers and things like that. But as Neil said, that's likely to go away. The only other reason or big thing to talk about here, it's compliant with our codes, and it's buttoned up pretty well. You will be granting a waiver for the metal roof, though, which they have shown on the elevations. The rest of the building meets architectural design guidelines. And staff does recommend approval with all the conditions listed. Thank you.
Thank you. Engineering, Todd?
Most of my comments were drive-through related. So my one recommendation would be that the building was adjusted so that the back of the building abuts that drive alley, to kind of keep that width narrow and prevent people from just speeding down between Sire and Vanner. One thing of note that's slightly unusual in Mount Juliet is the inclusion of wheel stops along that Golden Bear frontage. It's not in the code that prohibits wheel stops. It's a recommendation, and that's usually to prevent people from tripping on them. Whereas in this case, that they're not in a pedestrian path of travel, and they're just used as a drainage feature, really. And that's consistent with the other Jackson Hills PUD retail center on the other side of that right in, right out drive aisle.
Okay. And I have to apologize. I got a little out of order. Didn't go to staff before I went to citizen comments, but we'll make it through it. Just for clarification purposes, the entire drive-through lane, everything, all that, the little raised curb, all that's being taken out.
The raised curb, the turn, the little spot right there where the window would be,
Okay.
all that will go away. I guess we probably would have left the space there, but if Todd's asking us not to, I'm okay with that. We were showing a loading area there, so if staff is okay with the loading area, it's not a striped loading area, but I think the loading area could be to the side, to the south of the building. As long as that's okay, we can.
I think we can find something that works to keep the loading area and back out of view of the public right away.
That would be my only concern, is we were going to use that for loading area, obviously. But
that
can work
change
with
is not
staff.
going to materially change the site plan. So if you guys are good with that being a staff level review.
That was my next question. Would it necessitate another revisit? No. Okay. Okay. Any other comments from Planning Commission?
Got one.
Sure, Preston.
So
Commissioner
now,
George?
so now that the drive-through is being nixed on the front end, it's still the intention for that to be a one-way above Unit A, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
it would.
good. Okay, thank you.
The metal roof, is that consistent with the Golden Bear gas station?
I believe it's
I drive
consistent
it
with
every
the
day, but I don't pay attention.
same here. I'm pretty sure it's consistent with the architect tried to mimic the architecture on Golden Bear Gateway.
It kind of mimics Clubhouse a little bit as well.
That was the original purpose behind when we did Golden Bear Market.
Okay.
Just try to mimic as much as possible.
Very good. Any other comments from the planning commission? All right. Do I have a motion on this item? Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor? Oh, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Got one more item of business I've got to take care of. Next meeting will be Chairperson Winchester's job, but I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Got one quick thing
Oh.
before, sorry.
I'll be later.
Question for staff is there a way moving forward on our memos to be able to work with the fire marshal and potentially just get like a general distance from the nearest fire station? Because that's something I feel like I've spent a lot of time on Google Maps trying to search, especially when we're looking at stuff on Bender's Ferry, trying to see what that looks like. I didn't know if there's an easy way to do that or.
That he is part of the review process. So if there's an issue, he's there to see it and catch it. But if you wanted something like that, we could.
I think it'd be helpful
Yeah.
for me. I can't speak for the rest of the
Yeah.
commissioners, but it'd just be nice to see what the distance from the nearest is. Because I feel like sometimes I'm like, well, are they close to the one by City Hall or are they close to the one by Green Hill? And then
Right.
I'm doing a lot of Google Maps. So if we could add that, that'd be great.
Yes, Mr. Blamires is part of the whole thing, the whole review process, so he could, bring it up for sure.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll go back to my next request. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor, raise your hand by saying aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries, despite the mayor. Thank you all for attending very much.